Okay. So, welcome, sir. The RSC gave us the opportunity to talk with Indian great scientists. So, I am welcoming on behalf of that. And before starting this conversation, I would just like to welcome very well-known scientist, Professor Rahul Banerjee. I would like to just give brief introduction to Professor Banerjee. He's a organic chemist and professor at IISER Kolkata. He is a fellow of Royal Society of Chemistry and very well known for his studies in metal organic frameworks. He is a recipient of many awards, including Sant Swarup Bhatnagar Prize. He is also the associate editor of very reputed journal, Journal of American Chemical Society. And with this brief introduction, sir, I would like to ask about your initial days when you were in school, then college, then what are the transitions happened, then you came to science and like so academia. So I would just like to know about those.
Okay, thank you, Abhay, for this excellent opportunity. Uh, First of all, I'd like to convey my greetings to the audience whosoever will be watching it. Now, regarding your question, I started my studies in Ramakrishna Mission, which is a well-known institute in West Bengal. Uh, this in Ramakrishna Mission was founded by Swami Vivekananda, and subsequent to that, the schools and thereafter colleges where undergraduate and graduate teaching opportunities are available. So I studied there and I started my schooling there. Obviously, the school, Ramakrishna Mission, the teaching quality was excellent in my opinion. And it was, I mean, the discipline was also quite strict. We have been told that we have to be very good in whatever we want to do. Now, it doesn't mean that you have to be very good in studies only. Um, I know many of my friends; they have taken different paths after after their after studying in Ramakrishna Mission. So anyway, from there I picked up a knack of let's put it in whatever I could do, whatever based on my abilities. I picked up a knack of looking for new things. Let's put it in this way. And also, I had a lot of teachers who could explain subjects very easily. Let's put it in this way. So you can teach in many different ways, and over there I had a few very good teachers. They could train us very well. Let's put it in this way.
Yes.
Now, anyway, so that was first thing first, and afterwards I moved to once again under Ramakrishna Mission, as I told you, for the undergrad studies in Vivekananda Centenary College, which was in my locality, and there I got an opportunity to see a couple of professors, especially one of my teacher, Professor Chandrakanta Banerjee, who who used to do research on those days during those days in a college, literally in a small room, where in a very small room he had a small bench where after his classes and all, he used to come there and do some research completely out of passion. Let's put it in this way. I mean, these days you can see that we do have a lot of facilities and a lot of opportunities,
Still we complain.
but the passion, the urge and the zeal of doing science, it's not so prominent, especially in our country. That's what I have
Yes.
always felt. I'm not blaming any student or I'm not blaming any faculties or something, but we are so motivated towards, let's say, uh, what kind of infrastructure we are going to get, what kind of students. I mean, from a faculty perspective, students are thinking, if I pursue research, whether I'm going to get a job or not. So these aspects are quite strong at the moment, and I do agree with them. I don't blame anyone. So therefore, I saw my professor over there. He had no student, uh, and he used to do everything on his own. So if at that time if he is doing a reaction, he has to clean the glassware himself. Okay, so you can understand, right? So
Yes,
he's
sir.
taking classes, and it's not that he's going to take only 1 or 2 classes per day in the college. He has to probably take 3 or 4 classes, each class 1 hour duration. So after doing that, he is still going to the lab and doing the teaching. Now those days, there used to be, and we used to have. I mean, our college days were Monday to Saturday. By the way, please make a note of it. It was not Monday to Friday.
Yes.
Actually, when I was a PhD student in Central University Hyderabad, it was also Monday to Friday. It's only after I came back and joined NCL, I found that working hours are different. It's Monday to Friday, like US or Europe or UK system.
Yeah.
So we used to study till Monday to Saturday,
Mm.
and in between, every professor used to get 1 day off. So my teacher, I mean, every teacher can choose. I mean, some used to choose Saturday off, some used to choose Monday off, whatever.
Mm.
So I saw some of them, going to the Calcutta University on that off day and perform some NMR, IR, those kind of experiments. In the college there were nothing, literally,
Yes.
absolutely nothing.
Yes.
And so anyway, from there I picked up this knack of doing science. Also, I should be very blunt in the beginning itself. I also tried to appear for JEE exam, and I should be very clear to the audience. I did try, and I could not succeed. And let me be very very honest here. Okay? If I would have been successful, probably I would have taken a profession
Engineering.
there, maybe engineering, maybe medical science, whatever, maybe. But I did it. Do I regret it? I don't think so. I mean, do I feel bad that I could not get the position or something like that? I don't think so, because I believe that today, if you are a scientist, and if you can do good, you will get a lot of opportunities, and you can be a visible figure, you can be well known, you can touch upon many people's lives, like what a doctor do, and so on. So anyway, so this is the way I picked up. Later, I joined for a PhD. I had no idea what PhD means. Today, people do know which professor does what are their publications,
Yes,
how
sir.
many papers are
Mm.
published, whether they can push their students for postdocs or jobs or something like that, and then they do this background search, and then they decide a professor. So you can imagine that time I had no idea. And incidentally, Professor Desiraju, he visited Calcutta University, delivered a lecture. I became interested. I asked one of my professor at Calcutta University, Professor Chaitali Mukherjee, ma'am, I have got this JRF. So what am I supposed to do now? So she told, you should do a PhD and you will get some fellowship. I had no idea what exactly fellowship means. Believe me, none of my friends did. Okay. So I asked, what do you mean by fellowship? She told, you are going to get stipend. And I was so happy, because till that time, it's only my father only paid for all the fees. So this, I felt that this could be a time when I could return some favor to my father. I mean, if we put that as a favor, I mean, you
Yes.
cannot return any
Yeah.
favor to your parents, but I can support them a bit, maybe. So I had no idea, and then she told that, why don't you request Professor Desiraju? He might take you as a student. So I just sent a letter. That time there was no email, nothing. I sent a letter, handwritten letter, written by myself in a A4 size page, and I gave it to my father. And my father posted it to Professor by post, speed
Yes,
post.
sir. Yes.
So then Professor Desiraju replied once again a letter, and told that why don't you come here? So I went there with my parents and my brother, younger brother. We had a nice trip of Hyderabad. I had not seen Hyderabad. We saw
Okay.
beautiful places, and afterwards met Professor Desiraju. He said, "Okay." I mean, he took a small interview, and then he said, "Okay, you can join." And then I got, I mean, my certificates and all, and then packed up my bags, and then joined with him. That Central University of Hyderabad. Incidentally, today's University of Hyderabad is in news because I'm assuming that Andhra Pradesh government
Hmm.
um, is
But
probably I don't know,
cutting 400 acres.
400 acres. I mean, trees. I don't know. They
Yeah.
were probably these trees are 100 or maybe 200 years old. I mean, and that land, that section is the ecosystem. I don't know, probably 1,000 years old ecosystem. I can't believe that someone can even dare to cut trees and all. I mean, but the ecosystem is so strong. But Central University Hyderabad has its own charm, and I really believe it has been put very nicely in one report I was seeing. It looked that time it was even full of those kind of trees and peacocks and snakes and scorpions and deers and
Yes, sir.
whatnot.
Yes, sir.
So it was more like a sort of a let's say jungle retreat rather than a university. So I went there. I had some hard time to adjust with South Indian food,
Same.
very hard time.
Yeah.
But I
Very
adjusted.
spicy food. Yeah.
Spicy. I mean, till that time, the only kind of card I
Yeah.
had is a sweet card.
Yes, sir.
That is very famous in West Bengal.
Yes, sir.
Over there, I first time consumed card which is sour in
So,
taste.
yes, sir.
So
Same.
initially, believe me, initially I could not even smell that card. But slowly, a time came, I used to feel my whole meal is not complete uh, if I'm not consuming that last cup of card. I mean, last part. Anyway, so there I got an opportunity to work firsthand with different kinds of aspects of science. I learned something. When I look back, I feel that I could have learned more. But I learned crystallography from Professor Desiraju. I learned crystal engineering, and subsequent to
Yes.
that, I went to US and did work with Professor Yagi. And then there also, I learned a lot of different aspects of porous materials
Yes.
and what are the and there I learned that your science, it must be very fundamental either, or it should deliver some industrial needs. So either way, so those aspects I learned in US. That was a very good opportunity working in US. After that, I applied for jobs and came and joined National Chemical Laboratory. Once again, there I learned how to work with industry. It's a very, very interesting thing. National Chemical Laboratory just completed 75 years since its inception, just last month. And I got an opportunity to learn. I had very, I mean, I had an opportunity to work with fantastic students, and that took off. I mean, in that particular way. As I said, not much I could plan. I had no knowledge how to plan things. To be very honest,
Okay.
and therefore, whatever happened happened,
Okay.
and whatever came along, I started working
Hmm.
with that.
Okay.
That's the
So
way
you.
if I put
Okay.
things in perspective.
Okay. So, sir, you were the JRF, and that time I guess ISC and IITs were there, but you still chose University of Hyderabad because of Desiraju, sir.
So IIT, so those days, if you even if you have a JRF, you still need to go and give interview in different places. I
Okay.
did apply to a few places. As I told you, that time
Hmm.
there were no internet.
Okay. Yeah.
You had no idea who is doing what. You had
Yes.
no idea about research. No one had that much idea about it. I had no idea about research. Believe me,
Yes.
these days, starting from I received so many applications from young kids. I mean, they have just started their graduation. They
Yes.
want to do a summer project,
Yes.
and I asked them why. Do your studies properly first. You become very good at your studies. Research, you will have a huge opportunity to do lots and lots of research. There is no problem whatsoever. But that time we had no opportunity as such. So as I said, I applied to few places,
Okay.
and I gave interview in IISc Bangalore, a couple of places. I must say that because IISc Bangalore had its own name, so I did, and I gave an interview. I could not clear the interview. Let's put it in this way. And then I gave interview in University of Hyderabad. I could clear there, and I went ahead with it. Why didn't I do a PhD in Kolkata? Once again, I mean, I told you, I
Yes.
had no information whatsoever. Believe me, today people will laugh at it, and people may think that I was a stupid fellow.
Yes.
Maybe I was. Maybe I should have talked to few people. Maybe I should have, I should have should have asked around and all. I didn't. So I went ahead and did my PhD in University of Hyderabad.
Okay. Instead, after working with Professor Omar Yagi, who is a pioneer of MOF, so what drive you to come back to India? Most people now try to settle abroad after doing postdocs. So,
Right. Once again, that's a very good question. Once, as I told you, that at that point, my postdoc supervisor, he insisted that, I mean, he told me that I should also explore opportunities in US. So I said, okay, I will explore some opportunities. But I thought that let me try some opportunities in my country first. If I can't get any job or no reply whatsoever, then I will try something in US as well. But I got a few reply.
okay.
And interestingly, before I left country, I gave one interview right after I finished my PhD for a scientist position at NCL. And it's a talk, just a I also came to IISc Bangalore, also delivered a talk
Yes.
in the SSU department. So like that, a talk.
Okay.
So I delivered a lecture right after the PhD. I gave a talk, and then Professor Ganesh hosted me. And after the talk, I met a few scientists, faculties, and all. And thereafter, I met Professor Shibram, who was then the director of NCL, and now he is a honorary professor and INSA chair professor in IISER Pune. Professor Shibram is also an adjunct faculty in IISER Kolkata. So, and I met him. He was the director then, and he told me that you should pursue my postdoc. And after my postdoc, I should come back and join National Chemical Laboratory. Imagine. So I gave the talk, and based on the talk and based on the interaction that he had with me for about half an hour, 45 minutes, he offered a position. Imagine that.
Wow.
Today this is just unbelievable.
Yes,
Just
sir.
unbelievable. Few people sat together. They felt that this gentleman may be a good scientist, may become a good scientist if we hire him. Let's take this as an opportunity and hire this person. So he hired me as a ad hoc scientist
Okay.
at NCL Pune. I started my career thereafter. So these are some of the aspects that I would request if someone from the government organization is or government is looking into it. These kind of flexibilities should be there in the academic setup,
Yes.
and this helps a lot, in my opinion.
Yes.
So I got hired and started right after my postdoc. So I did a PhD. After that, did exactly 2 years postdoc. Came to India, joined as a scientist.
Sir, I will like to know more about your PhD with Professor Desraju. Like, I really admire him a lot. He's a very well-known crystal engineer or father of crystal engineering, we can say. So, how his guidance like impacted on you?
So I was what I learned from Professor Desiraju is a very interesting thing that I want to that I believe I have tried to convey to all my students is that if you want to do science, you should do it at your own pace.
Okay.
If you want to do really, so what I always tell my students, and also I do it in that particular way, is that whenever I'm working, I'm working. If I don't feel like working, then I'm not working. So I may probably read a book, I may probably watch a movie, I may probably listen to a song or something, and I may probably spend some time with my family, whatever. But that time I would like to do that.
Okay.
Whenever I'm working. And it doesn't need to be. And today's time, this you can work from anywhere. To be very honest.
Yes.
So if someone wants to work in the lab, and if someone wants to come very early in the morning and start his or her research, they are absolutely welcome. They should be.
Yes.
And this is a culture that I also saw vividly in NCA. People used to work at their own pace, at their own time, and this is what I learned from Professor Desiree. Number one. Number two is that, so whenever there is a problem, whenever we used to think about a problem, so can we try this? Almost always, Professor Desiree said, go ahead, give it a shot. I mean, if you want to do it, give it a shot. Of course, we used to do some pros and cons analysis of a problem. That if we work on this and if we walk on this path, what would be the pros and cons? So that we used to discuss. We used to take a calculate. I mean, we used to calculate our probabilities of success, and we used to move on. So these are the two things apart from the subject, of course. I mean, whatever I learned in the crystallography and crystal engineering, I got an opportunity to work with him. If the subject was not very, I mean, I must say that the subject was not very well appreciated in India that time. Appreciated in the sense, well, I would rather say, well, not well, very well recognized. Everybody knew Professor Tusiraj.
Yeah.
But what is the implications of that work? I mean, what that work can do? I think that aspect was not very clear. The same thing I noticed when I started working in the MOS field.
Yeah.
There were always some comparison, like, regarding the zeolites or porous carbon and other porous materials which are already there in the market or in the literature. I mean, if these materials are very good, then what is the point of inventing new material and so on and so forth? So this kind of criticism I saw my postdoc supervisor facing. So this gave me an opportunity to learn that, okay, if in science you will face criticism, which is a good thing.
Okay.
In my opinion, it's a good thing.
Good.
And today when I face criticism, I take it very positive manner. I even criticize my own research a lot to my own students and others. Say that, look, I mean, this part of the research doesn't look very good. This might not attract others. This might not, encourage all others to work on this field. Anyway, so some of these aspects, I believe I did learn when I was with Professor Desiraj. I also got an opportunity to work with BASF. This is a common factor. BASF, I mean, it's a very well-known German company who makes many different types of chemicals. Probably one of the chemical is that the color of the jeans that we are wearing.
Okay.
Okay, so that is made by BASF in bulk. Many other chemicals. I mean, BASF was invented, if I recall correctly, by Dr. Haber, Professor Haber, who invented the ammonia synthesis.
Yeah.
So he founded this BASF company, and subsequently, this company is one of the largest chemical company in the world. So we worked with BASF, and when I was a PhD student, we worked with BASF when I was a postdoc. So that was a very nice
That was
opportunity
kind of
for me.
industry collaboration or some.
Yes, it was industry collaboration. Industry used to give you a project, and they used to give some
Okay.
money to complete the project. So they are sort of putting you like a contractor kind of stuff. So so like if you want someone if you want to build a house, you are not going to do it
Yes.
by yourself, right? You will ask
Some.
someone to do it, right? And you will pay that person some money. So BASF used to do that. They used to ask our lab that you do this when I was a PhD student, and then that was the project. They used to give us some money, and then to run the project successfully and to complete the project. So we used to do that. So I got an opportunity to work with the IISER that time. I also got an opportunity to work with the IISER when I was a postdoc. So this was a good opportunity, and I could understand that the tone of the industry, how they speak, what kind of language they speak, and so.
Sir, science is often described as like iterative journey of more failure than breakthroughs. So whenever failure comes, how you deal with failures personally?
Failures. I don't think the other day I was listening to a interview of a very famous professor in supramolecular chemistry, Professor
Yeah,
Jean-Marie Len.
Nobel
And I
Prize.
last year I had an opportunity to meet Professor Fraser Stoddard, who passed away in 30th of
Yes,
December, if I remember
yes,
properly, 2024. He was an outstanding chemist, outstanding human being. I met him when I was a postdoc at UCLA, and then of course I met him every now and then in different conferences. Very supportive person. uh, so so Professor Stoddard always told me that he believes that, you know, he believes that, he said that there is often a saying, failure is the pillar of success.
okay,
Failures are the pillar of success. Let's put it in this way. He said that I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Failures, if you think on that line that failures are the pillar of success, you will probably not go very far.
okay,
So therefore, you consider those things are all success.
okay,
You tried, you did not get result. You got something for that
yes,
matter. You got a knowledge, you got an idea, you got some understanding. You consider this as a success. Then you give it a shot in, you know, uh, in different way. So try to find out. So now, what I'm trying to tell you is that yes, of course, there will be situation. When you are trying to do a research and you are expecting a result, there will be often times you won't get, let's say,
yeah,
success. But that does not mean that you are not getting any result.
yeah,
You are indeed getting results.
true.
Results. I don't agree with that. These are positive results and these are negative results. I don't believe it.
They are results. Yeah,
Results are results, results are results. Okay, I got this. Okay, so that is what I'm again and again trying to tell, so when I was a postdoc, I was, of course, now since everything is very time bound,
mhm,
we are always under a lot of pressure.
yes,
That's unfortunate. I don't like it, but what to do?
yes,
I can't change it
yes,
overnight. So what I try and tell my students, that you try to do a sort of brainstorming with yourself and your colleagues. Ask them that I'm trying to do this. What do you think? If they criticize, be very happy. Don't feel angry or unhappy about it. If they say, let's say, what is the point of this kind of research? Who would like to be interested in your science? Be very happy about it, because you know then you know what kind of criticism that can come after you finish the result, after you finish your work. So then you wait. If you feel that yes, I would like to go forward, give it a shot. Many times you will not get your desired results. You will get some results or the other. Take it as a result. See if you can build upon. So that is the way I see it. But well, you always have some targets. When you are doing science, you try to achieve something. If you can't achieve, you will feel bad about it. Yes, of course, you will feel sad about it. I would recommend students not to feel too much pressurized. That is the big problem now. You know, let's say, if I tell you, and you are my PhD student, if I tell, look, Abhay, I want this result.
yeah,
I want this compound made, and it should crystallize in this particular way.
mm, mm,
I don't want to know how you will synthesize the compound, or how will it crystallize in that
way.
particular way what I desire and come. So I can
Yeah,
ask. Likewise, I can also say that I want moon as a gift or something.
yeah,
So I can
Yeah.
ask. I mean, there is nothing wrong with
Yes.
asking, but once again your wishes must be realistic.
Yes.
We must not have a unrealistic
Yes.
wish. These days, I feel that people feel a lot about unrealistic wishes. I want to make this compound which will show that property,
Yes.
and which will be which will be the best in the world. In every places, the best in the world is the most important. I should be the best in the world. I should be the best, and everybody should be inferior than
That
me.
creates pressure only.
This, that creates a pressure on yourself. That creates a pressure on your students, your co-workers, on your family, and whatever. So I don't know if we really, I mean, shall we be that much under pressure? Really?
I,
I don't know. I really don't
yes.
know. I should invent a car which will run, let's say, 100 miles in 1 liter petrol, using 1 liter petrol. I mean, these are
Yes, sir. Expectations.
unrealistic
Yeah.
expectations, right?
So,
So these expectations I should not have. So it's okay. I'm trying my level best, but there is another point. But I should be diligent, and I should be
yes,
accountable.
sir.
Um, you know, Someone, for example, in our country, people are paying money,
Yes.
taxpayers' money. I'm using taxpayers' money to do my research, so I should be
Yes.
accountable
Sure.
to the taxpayers. Whatever I do, I should try my level best to make sure a taxpayer should not feel bad that this guy took my money and did nothing.
Yes.
I trusted him or her. So these are some of the aspects that also we should keep in mind,
Yes.
in my opinion.
Yes. Sir, you have published so many papers in very reputed journals. If I ask what was your one Eureka moment when you thought, yeah, actually we did it. So in your journey.
So let me put it in this. So when first of all, I don't think I published that many papers. But that being said, uh, when I was in NCL, we were doing initially some work on metal
Yes.
organic frameworks and all. And then one day, one of my students, he's assistant professor now at Shivnadar University, Sharat Kandambed, he came up with an idea. I repeat, he came up with an idea. He told that we could try this. I said that this is a very good thing. In this particular field, the field actually lacks these breakthrough. So he said that I could create a material, a crystalline polymer, which will be chemically stable. Previously, there
Are
were
you talking about that hydrogen bonding with hydroxyl? That,
so he came up with that. So that was the result.
yeah.
I'm talking about the discussion before the result.
Okay.
So he came up with the idea. He came up with the idea directly.
Okay.
So this is something I tell everybody. So I told, look, this if you can achieve this, it will be a breakthrough in this field. It will be a breakthrough in this field. I
Yes.
mean, but the problem is, I am not so sure if you can achieve it. Your logic looks correct.
Hmm.
But there are many things that happen when you are crystallizing something. Like I said, na, if I say that,
Yeah.
oh, I want you to make this, which should crystallize in that,
Yes.
then it becomes really messy.
Yes.
So you cannot control a crystallization. You cannot predict. I mean, you cannot say that I have made this particular compound and I know it is going to crystallize in this particular way. You sometimes may able to predict. I'm not saying you can't. You can predict, but not always. And you cannot say that I want it to crystallize in that particular way and it will happen. So that's a different thing. So therefore, I told that if the logic looks good, logic looks correct, and I am not fully sure that it will crystallize in this particular way. That is where, but give it a try. I could have very well said no to him. I could have
Hmm.
told him, you try this, try that,
Yes.
and he tried. It did work,
Yes.
and in the first shot itself, it worked. So that's why I tell a lot of my students, and I also try to do it. But every now and then, I mean, most often we fail. that we spend more time in the blackboard. You draw and you discuss an idea, you try to figure out the logic behind it, you try to figure out whether it will be successful or it will be a failure, and so on. But I mean, generally we don't spend much time. We just straight away go to the lab, we start doing the work.
Okay.
Whether it is good, I don't know. But that time it worked exactly in this particular way. And I'm very happy that it worked. So, yes, if you ask me, that was one of the breakthrough moments. There were other things that we did over the time once that happened, but that was, I must say, that the breakthrough moments. Yes.
Sir, you have guided so many PhD students. So when you guide them, what is the one thing which you focus most? Like, yeah, this thing should be the priority every time.
Freedom,
Freedom.
freedom and independence.
Okay. So,
Research supervisor is a supervisor.
yeah,
A guide is a guide. I mean, so that's why it is called research supervisor slash guide, right?
yeah,
So it's not that a research supervisor should sit upon a student's head and then force him or her to do whatever that research supervisor wants. A lot many times I have seen that research supervisor doing, you know, this result should happen, this should happen, you must do this, you should to make this compound, you have to make this compound, I want this compound to be made. These are challenges. Sometimes it worked though. I mean, so sometimes I have seen that students under pressure they deliver, but I have never liked it. I don't like it. I feel that a student should be independent. Students
yeah.
should
Creativity can't come under
must
pressure.
be a creative. Research must be creative. I mean, lot many people disagree with me. They say that no, PhD is not about creativity. PhD is only about training. I don't agree with it. I don't agree with it. Unfortunately, these days PhD has all become, sort of, and the way we are saying the students, you need to publish 6 papers, 8 papers, 10 papers, 12 papers before you finish your PhD. I mean, if a student is so much focused on publishing 12 papers, he has only 5 years. So every 6 months he needs to publish one paper. Even
Yep.
then, he will be too short,
Yeah.
2 papers short. So you can imagine, that person has to finish one paper in every 6 months. How on earth
I
he or
think
she will be creative? I don't know. I don't think he or she
yes.
can. I don't think anybody can. For that.
Anybody can. Yes.
I don't think so. So therefore, one must get an opportunity to work in that particular way. But if you are working in an industry, let's say if you want to design a fabric,
Yes.
cheaper fabric, more soft, you don't need to invent a fabric, but now you need to make it better.
Yes.
Okay, all right, that's a very good research too. So then that there you have a target. So you go ahead and do that and achieve the target. That's I mean I have immense respect towards Indian industries, but I believe that they also should interact with academia a bit
Okay.
more.
Yes. Sir,
And
do
why
you?
it's not the other way around?
Yeah.
It has to be from the industry part. I told it to many industries
Hmm.
that you have to put some. I mean, you have to take a leap of faith. That well, okay, I will approach this academia, and I would like to, um, you know, see how it goes.
Yeah.
But anyway, so hopefully it will happen. Let's see.
Sir, do you feel stress in academia? And if you feel, then how you maintain mental well-being in academia? Because we are always dealing with the deadlines, like many things, grant submission, paper submission, so many things. So do you feel?
This, yes, the paperwork and all are sometimes stressful. I agree with you.
Yeah,
Don't want to hide.
yeah,
It is stressful. Whether we should change it, I believe we should. I think once someone, if someone applies for a grant, that person should be given the entire grant in the beginning, the entire grant,
okay,
whatever the grant it is, entire grant in the beginning, and then at the end of the grant, he or she should submit year-wise utilization certificate.
Okay.
That he or she has utilized the grant properly, and here is the certificate. And whatever unspent balance is there, he or she should return to the government. Very simple way. So it should be much more simplified, in my opinion.
Okay.
Every now and then, if it is, yes, of course, he or she should face an interview panel and discuss the discuss the outcome of the project, what has
Mm.
happened and all. If the discussion should be transparent, this discussion should be done with care. And a research proposal, I always feel that a research proposal, before someone grants a research proposal, it should be critically evaluated. That is the time. And I believe that in our scientific community, we are not doing a very good job. We are not telling, or we are not telling the PIs or the scientists or the students, or for that matter anybody, to put, I mean, to invest time to build a good research proposal. We are not telling them. We are telling them to do good science, no
Mm.
problem, but we are not telling them to build a good research proposal. So something like that. I strongly believe we should do that, and we should merit those proposals. A good idea should always be funded, and someone who has a good idea should always receive some help. But good ideas are very rare these days.
So, sir, what are your hobbies outside of your research? Like,
Okay, one thing I forgot. So regarding the stress, whatever you told,
yeah.
yes, it's stressful sometimes, but there are many ways you can kill that stress. There are many ways. So if you work as a team, most often or not, this stress will not bother you. So that's what I try to do. I try my level best to you know to ask students to do particular job regarding these things, and I also try my level best to help them. So together we try to work that, okay, all right, let's do it slowly, that's fine, we will take it one step at a time, it should be fine. It doesn't need to be done overnight. So we do it. That is something I believe we can target. And at the end of the day, if you are the stress thing is something that one must make an effort to deal with. I strongly believe it's not easy. It's easier said than done. I must say that it's easier said than done. We are in academia. Academia, in my opinion, is much less stressful than industry. So some people may disagree with me, but in my opinion, academia is still quite less stressful than industry. So therefore, one should take the advantage of that.
Yes. So, sir, what are your hobbies like other than research?
In general,
Mhm.
I also like traveling, going to different places. Mm, Once again, in a relaxed manner, not, not running one city per day and then go to the next city, something like that.
Yes.
Not that. Very relaxed manner. I would like to travel, see a few things, and that is one thing. And I felt that that could be a very nice stress relief. Second, number two is I love reading. Let's put it once again. I must be very, very careful here. So
Yes.
I love reading storybooks,
Okay. Mm. It's clear.
but but mostly Bengali storybooks which are written in my mother tongue. Um, that being said, I am not very good in reading English literature. To be very honest, I don't get the feel. Maybe I should put some effort. I didn't,
Mm.
but I generally don't get that feel.
Right.
I love watching good movies. I also love reading, about, let's put it in this way, some aspects of history, science history for that matter.
Okay.
Okay. So science history. So I don't think it is a hobby, but every now and then, if I get an opportunity, I read a little bit about science history.
So, sir, what advice would you offer to new PhD researchers like me or whoever is listening to you, who are pursuing a PhD or doing a postdoc? What advice would you like to
Yes.
advise?
So first, ask yourself: do you really want to do a PhD? Okay. Are you doing PhD because you have nothing else to do? Ask yourself this question. Get an honest answer. I mean, that is, you don't have to tell the answer to others, but ask this question to yourself. This is a question I tell all my students to ask. Yes, of course, you can say that. Look, at the moment, I have nothing better to do, so I am going ahead. All right, that's fine. You know, it's better than doing nothing, definitely. But then the question that becomes that which field.
Mm.
That is the point number one. Point number two is, please also ask yourself, in which field do you want to work. So these days, whenever I ask these students that, okay, you want to do PhD? Yes, sir, I want to do PhD. Okay, all right. Then second question, why? No answer. Okay. Third question, where do you want to do PhD? Sir, I want to do PhD in US. Fourth question, why? There are many facilities. Fifth question, so you believe that there aren't many facilities in your country? No, no, there are facilities in my country. So then why do you want to go to US? No, sir, I believe over there also more facilities are more. You can understand, right?
Yeah. Yes.
So you could be honest, saying that, look, there. I mean, in US, if I do a PhD, I'll get more money. There is
Yeah.
nothing wrong in that. I mean, so be honest to when you are going for a PhD.
Yes.
Be honest, saying that, look, I will get more opportunities if I go to US. It is true. We have to admit it. If you do a PhD in India and if you do a PhD in abroad, the chances of you getting a job if you do a PhD in abroad in US is more. Sure. But that does not mean that you should do a PhD in US just because you want to do a PhD in US.
Yeah.
Then it is going to be very counterproductive, because you will be expert of a subject which, I mean, let's say half expert of a subject, and nobody wants a half expert.
Yes.
So you rather become an expert of a subject by doing a PhD in your own country, rather than become expert, rather than becoming a half expert of a subject which you have no. So I don't want someone to become a half expert and then and go to US and become a half expert. Rather, you stay in your country, you become an expert. Experts are always appreciated. If you know something in detail, people will appreciate your knowledge. So, and lot many people are doing good research in India. There are, in my opinion, students should think about it a bit carefully. It's a completely different country. You are going to be alone, absolutely alone. There are visa problems these days. There are lots and lots of visa problems. I would recommend
Yes.
students to think about it very, very carefully. If some students are watching this podcast later, I will tell them, be very careful. Just because you want to do a PhD in abroad, just because your friends are doing a PhD in abroad, don't do it. Do you really believe that subject where you are about to do your PhD? Do you like it? Do you enjoy doing that subject? Do you enjoy research and doing research on that subject? If you don't, then don't do it. Then
Yes.
don't do it. You will have a hard time finding a position, at a later stage. Don't do it. Rather than do something which you like. Even if you have to do a PhD, do your PhD on a subject which you feel that you are good at.
Yes.
Okay. So this is something I'm going to tell. I don't know how many of my
Will
younger
listen.
colleagues will listen,
Yeah.
but that's okay. Since you asked,
Yeah. Thank you so much, sir, for giving us time. Really nice talking to you, and so much we have learned. Um, Thank you so much, sir.
thank you very much. Thank you so very much. And with your permission, I would like to disconnect. Thank you. I
Yes.
wish you all the best. Those who
Thank
are
you, sir.
watching, which I wish all of them very good health. So take care and do your best. Okay,
Yes.
take care. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir.